We're back at Lockhart, and things are vertical. Just like we saw a little bit last week, thanks to Steve Siri, we're here again to see if there's been any more activity since that last week. Let's check it out. All right, as we pan across, you can start to see some buildings going up over here. And these buildings are either locker rooms or concessions. They are in the diagram of some of the renderings, and we'll show that right here, where you can see there's 3 buildings there on the east side of the stadium. Over here, we're seeing the west side of the stands. You can start seeing those similar kind of buildings over there, plus some metal going in. So the east side is going to be the side that is the, I guess, more affordable side, because in the evening games or the late afternoon games, the sun will be coming down on you, right? Because sun rises in the east, sets in the west. So with it setting in the west, the east side will get lit up. The club seats are going to be going over here. So these are much more expensive seats. Now, online, I've seen some people complaining that in the pricing for the stadium, that they removed the name Lockhart. So a lot of us traditionalists, a lot of the people, historians, guys that grew up going to see soccer in this stadium for generations, are upset that they've removed the name Lockhart. Now, of course, it's still on the renderings, but in the pricing, it's referring to Fort Lauderdale Stadium. To be honest, I wouldn't be overly concerned about that, because I don't think the name will be Fort Lauderdale Stadium either. I do believe that before this stadium opens, it will have a corporate sponsor. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that, because we're going to be seeing like Bacardi Stadium or something like that, or Sprint Stadium. I got a feeling, though, that the entire park will be called Lockhart Park. So it might be like Bacardi Stadium at Lockhart Park. So the park that's out in the front of the stadium, that will probably be finished last, I believe will be called Lockhart. So, we're still going to have some traditional naming there, I think. Of course, none of this is confirmed. This is just my feelings. So, you can't get too attached to a name, although that name has history. But keep in mind, the ownership group did say they will honor that history. So there will be, some sort of shrine to all the history at this stadium, from players like Beckenbauer to Ray Hudson, all the greats that have played in this stadium. All right, we have a closer look at these 3 little buildings, and now they are small. So they're either small locker rooms or concessions. I got a feeling they're more concessionary on this side. Again, we're on the east side of the stadium, which is Northwest 12th Avenue. And here's a little hut for the workers, I guess, to stay out of the brutal sun here in Florida. Over here, we can see where the north end will be. And I'm going to pop in right now this aerial shot where you can really get a good idea of the layout of the stadium. This aerial shot, I don't know who did it. Found it on social media, so can't give credit to the person that did it. I'm not exactly sure, but you can clearly see the layout of the stadium, and the north stands, the east, west, south stands. North stand is where the supporters are going to sit. So for me, I'll either sit in the supporter section, or I may end up sitting over here in the east side, which is a little bit cheaper. I'm not exactly sure. It really all depends on where my wife and daughter want to sit. So, in other words, I may end up sitting with in the a little bit better seats, undercover, if you will. So at Northwest 55th Street, this was the dividing street between Fort Lauderdale Baseball Stadium and the soccer stadium. And interesting to see the way they've designed this, that division is still there. So now, on the old Lockhart side is the soccer stadium. And then on the other side of 55th Street is the training facility. Right here, this will be a parking lot. And over there, we're gonna go over here in just a few minutes, but you can see they've gone vertical on the training center that will overlook the fields. So with the buildings going up, we can start getting definitely a better idea of what's what. So this right here is going to be the football field that the high schools will be allowed to use. And I'm not sure, the high schools may be allowed to use the main stadium as well, but this is definitely a football field if you look at the artwork, and we'll show that here. So there's 2 local high schools in particular that will be using this facility. And again, there's the training facility over there. But back here it's going to be all fields. And if you guys are doing that drinking game that was mentioned in the comments, drink up. I said fields. All right, we're on the west side now, over closer to the airport. As you can hear the planes. Here's the training facility. It's looking good. It's moving up quick. Things are really progressing here fast. Once they started going vertical, it's all going to start happening so quick. Especially since this is a modular stadium. You know, it's all going to go up really, really fast. So this is going to be a pretty good sized facility, 2 stories. Anybody that knows construction, let us know what you see. Anything that stands out. Here's something for you historians. We're back at 55th Street on the other side, on the west side, and we got here a Strikers Boulevard sign. Kind of just leaning here. About to fall over. Anybody want to come out and rescue this sign? All right, so again, we're here on the west side, and here you could start to see these support structures going up, which I believe would be support structures for the actual stands, the building itself. Some more of those smaller buildings underneath. And then I think you're gonna start to see the stands going up there. We'll have the roof and all that, but I think that's basically just your support structures for that. So, you know, it's gonna go quick. So if we kind of pan down here and look right around this Caterpillar machine, there's a lot of metal here. Not sure exactly what that's for, but we got a lot of metal. This will be more of your club seat section. So if you can afford club seats, this is where you'll sit. Where they said I think you're going to get complimentary food and beverages, so it's going to be really nice. Tickets for, I think the season tickets for around club are somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,000 a year. Not crazy, but not cheap either. We've got some big support beams here, ready to go up. And if you're curious for as far as kind of like wayfinding as far as where we are, right across the street from the United States Army Reserve Center, and then also the Fort Lauderdale Executive U.S. Customs and Border Protection right here. So if I'm literally, that's right behind me. We get some airplanes over there, and then if you pan back, we've got the west stands. So something I noticed, you know, on the east side, there was only those 3 little buildings, but over here on the west side, there are many, many more. So, you know, you're gonna have locker rooms maybe over here, alongside concessions, restrooms, all that good stuff. And a lot of this area over here where this construction gear is, a lot of this will be parking lot. Lockhart Stadium still exists, at least on some piping. Tons and tons of metal just lining the outskirts here, just lots of it. So keep in mind, you know, this is a modular stadium, so it's going to be a metal stadium. So, you know, it's not the most deluxe of stadiums, but it's going to be loud. So imagine everybody just stomping their feet. It's going to be a very loud stadium. It's going to be really good. Great atmosphere, at least for the first couple of seasons. Now this kind of metal here, this black stuff with the crisscrossing going on in there. Again, I know nothing about construction. To me, that looks like something that would be part of the roof, you know, the overhang. All right, so we're over here now where I think right around where the south stands will go. Again, if we look at the aerial shot, you can kind of get an idea. This will be one of the end zones. Maybe a little more family-friendly end zone as opposed to the supporter section. We do have some workers out here. This is a Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning actually. And we got a few workers out here, not many, but a couple people out here. And then the rest is just a staging area for a lot of stuff, parking area. There you go, guys. It's a pretty detailed update here of what's happening at Lockhart. We'll be back again in a couple of weeks to see some progress. I think in 2 weeks we'll probably see a lot of progress. Maybe we'll have to come out here next week. We'll see. All right, well, that about wraps it up, guys. A lot of progress happening. Training facility going up right here. Moving fast. And I'm out of breath. It's a lot of walking around this thing. And it's hot out here. But it's moving fast. February, March can't come quick enough. And you know, the stadium has to be done by then, so it's really got to make some progress quickly, and it's happening. Worst case scenario, they play a few road games on the road, like every other MLS team that built a stadium. But that's not what we want, right? We want the stadium up quick. So, what do you think? What do you think of the progress? Do you feel like it's right on schedule, or do you think they're a little bit behind? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Lockhart update. Subscribe.